So after years of Beyonce getting away with her alleged crimes, people are now exposing her dealings with none other than the Island Guy. And what is this I'm hearing about Epstein's madame exposing Beyonce and Jay Z allegedly shady work in Nigeria? In fact, as I speak, multiple reported survivors are working with Nigerian authorities to get Beyonce convicted. And according to the testimonies that these supposed unconfirmed survivors are giving, Beyonce has her hands way deeper in all these shenanigans than any of us thought. And as if all that wasn't bad enough, the Fed also found receipts of her over $1 million from a disgraced Nigerian governor that was stolen from a charity fund meant for struggling locals. Now, as most of y'all know, the DOJ released 3 million documents from the Epstein files, and it mentioned Jay Z, Pusha T, and Harvey Weinstein as his alleged accomplices. According to an FBI crisis intake report, an anonymous victim who claimed she had been and used on multiple occasions, said she once woke up in a room with Weinstein and Jay Z present while Weinstein had allegedly touched her, and that she believed she was in Epstein's Florida mansion. The victim also said she was SA'd in 2007 at a party attended by Weinstein and Pusha T. Because the victim was intoxicated in both incidents, her memory was described as clouded. Now, even though Beyonce wasn't directly name-dropped in the files, she wasn't separated from this mess either. Not only did she instantly lose 200,000 followers, but receipts were also leaked that allegedly linked her to shady crimes in Nigeria. And the worst part is that Epstein's confirmed madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, might have details in it. Ghislaine was convicted in 2021 for transporting people for Jeffrey. According to prosecutors, she and her hired assistants enticed hundreds of women to visit Epstein's homes in New York City, Florida, New Mexico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as her own residence in London, where they were prepped for freak-offs with Jeffrey and his associates. She was convicted on 5 felony counts. In fact, Epstein survivor Sarah Ransom told People magazine that Ghislaine was the real enforcer. She was the enforcer. She controlled everything. Another Epstein accuser, Maria Farmer, told CBS that Ghislaine had been directly involved in peddling young women. All day long, I saw Ghislaine going to get women. She went to places like Central Park. I was with her a couple of times in the car. She would say, "Stop the car," and she would dash out and get someone. So how exactly did Beyonce get involved with all this? Well, word on the street is that she had some hand in the supply her unsuspecting women from Nigeria. Initially, these allegations sounded too wild to be true, till news came out that Beyonce and Jay Z were actually under serious investigation by the Nigerian police for their alleged involvement in CT in the country. Apparently, Nigerian police were demanding Jay Z and Beyonce for questioning over explosive survivor testimony tying them to human in Africa. The source that spilled this tea said, and I quote, "The unsealed Epstein files make it clear. Epstein and his elite associates ran full-scale human hunts in Africa, where the prey were people, released into remote terrain and chased for sport. A survivor has now come forward with devastating evidence. Jay Z and Beyonce, already linked to Epstein through flights and social ties, participated in these African hunts. The connections are snapping into place." Girl, I don't know how true this is, but it is going viral online, and everyone on Twitter is talking about it. But if these allegations are true, then it's not going to be long before an arrest is made. Now, as usual, Beyonce's fans tried defending her like crazy, claiming that she had no ties to Nigeria and that she hadn't even been there before. But baby, just a little research into this will tell you that not only has she been there, but she was also actually involved in a major controversy in the country, involving the alleged stealing of funds meant for charity. Okay, so back in October 2006, Beyonce and Jay Z visited Nigeria for the inaugural This Day Music Festival in Lagos, a 2-day event celebrating Nigeria's 46th independence anniversary. Beyonce headlined the first night, performing Deja Vu and Irreplaceable, and even sang the Nigerian national anthem, Arise, O Compatriots. However, a major controversy followed years later, when an investigative outlet called Sahara Reporters uncovered a document proving that $1 million from the country's charity fund was spent by then-Governor Goodluck Jonathan to help finance Beyonce and Jay Z's appearance at the festival. Beyonce and Jay reportedly denied any knowledge of the money being stolen from that fund, but of course, no one believed them. But it didn't stop there. Beyonce actually went on to exploit the country again, But this time, she was a bit more subtle with it, so people wouldn't catch on. In 2019, she visited Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya to collaborate with local musicians and visual artists for her visual album Black is King. The film showcased Nigeria's National Arts Theatre in Lagos as a landmark and featured Nigerian artists Wizkid, Yemi Alade, and Tiwa Savage. But here's the thing though. Despite profiting millions of dollars from using the art of Nigerians, she was quiet as a mouse when Nigerians were protesting against police brutality. Mind you, the protests and Black is King all happened around the same time, but Beyonce didn't care enough to even put out a tweet. It got so bad that one of the artists from the country she collaborated with, Tiwa Savage, publicly called her out. Beyonce eventually posted on Instagram saying she was heartbroken to see the senseless brutality taking place in Nigeria, and announced her Bay Good Foundation was working with youth organizations to provide emergency healthcare, food, and shelter. So basically, if they didn't call her out, she would have just stayed silent while profiting millions of dollars from using the art and culture of these people to boost her own career? That's some nasty work. And the fact that she's also now being linked to Epstein's operations in the country is nothing short of evil. Now, I don't know just how true the allegations are, but baby, these receipts are doing her dirty. And it also just made her a major target for the FBI to catch. And in case you're wondering why Epstein would choose Nigeria of all places, well, that's because the country already has a thriving CT market, so blending in to commit his share of it was very easy. I decided to dig deeper to see just how bad the issue is down there. And baby, you are not ready to hear what I found. Apparently, Nigeria occupies a tragically unique position in the global human distribution crisis. The U.S. State Department's 2024 Trafficking in Persons report noted that the Nigerian government reported initiating investigations of 698 cases, including ST cases. In 2022, Nigerian nationals made up the highest number of victims recorded by the European Union. The epicenter of Nigeria's international ST crisis is Edo State in the south. According to some estimates, nearly 9 out of every 10 ST women from Nigeria come from Edo State alone. For most women, the journey begins in Benin City, the capital of Edo State. Italy serves as a pit stop and a final destination for many, with survivors eventually. These are illegal facilities masquerading as private medical clinics or orphanages, where pregnant women are voluntarily or forcibly impregnated, held until delivery, and their offsprings are then passed on. The ones are not bought are often forced into labor. As usual, people had their thoughts. Like this person who said, "Bro, Beyonce's sacrificed little people, and her husband is on the Epstein files." Another person said, "Beyonce and her Epstein scammer husband. They are frauds. The Carters are going to prison." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Beyonce allegedly being in the Epstein files? And do you really think she was helping Ghislaine and Epstein commit crimes in Nigeria? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other, very messy video.